Duncan and Ranking Member DeGette for allowing me to wave on to today's hearing, and thanks to our witnesses for appearing here today. We have discussed at length in this committee how we cannot regulate or tax our way to cleaner energy. We have to be able to innovate. Advanced nuclear power is exactly the type of innovation that I'm talking about. By taking the clean, safe, and reliable traits of traditional nuclear generation and shrinking the size, small modular reactors, SMRs, and microreactors can provide energy to a new market of end users. Facilities like mines in western United States or data centers in Pennsylvania and Virginia could have reliable energy without having to strain the grid. Last month, I visited a Westinghouse facility where Westinghouse is using their long history of innovation to make widespread availability of microreactors a reality. Westinghouse has transformed an unused old steel factory into a manufacturing facility for this new technology, bringing family-sustaining jobs back to Pennsylvania. We need to do everything that we can to enable this innovation. If current regulations for nuclear waste are a hindrance to this new technology, we need to be able to have discussions on how we can safely reform them to allow advanced nuclear to thrive in the United States. Dr. Wagner, as I mentioned before, the end users of SMRs and microreactors might not be traditional utilities. They could be a variety of industrial users. What are the challenges with current regulations for this new type of end user?
So you're absolutely right. In fact, in your own state, recent agreement between Talen Energy related to a data center there, taking the power from a power purchase agreement off Susquehanna power plants is an example of the interest in these kinds of things. Dow Chemicals working with X-Energy is another example. In terms of the challenges that I hear from a number of these energy end users who want to utilize nuclear, a lot of them looking at small modular reactors and new nuclear as opposed to existing nuclear. The biggest challenge is, frankly, not one of regulations. It's one of first mover costs and uncertainties in cost and schedule with those reactors coming online when they need them.
And let's clarify some of those costs, Dr. Wagner, and I'm glad you brought that into the conversation. Like data mine centers and mines, these are industrial users, and they're going to be required to sign a contract with the Department of Energy and may have to store nuclear waste on their sites. Are they going to be willing and able to store waste on site? And will this affect ultimately the economic deployment?
So I can't speak to what they're willing or not willing to do, but it adds uncertainty to what their long-term costs and challenges are. And uncertainty is a big challenge in any of these companies' decisions to move forward with.
Do you think that uncertainty will inhibit their interest in pursuing these?
It does inhibit their interest, and it just kind of comes down to how willing are they to move forward in an uncertain space.
Mr. White, Pennsylvania's ratepayers are responsible for $4 billion in contributions to the Nuclear Waste Fund, which is supposed to pay for the permanent disposal of nuclear waste. There have been discussions about increasing consolidated interim storage to reduce taxpayer burdens through the Judgment Fund. You indicated that consolidated interim storage proposals should include a full analysis of cost. Can you please elaborate why? Is this to determine whether interim storage would actually reduce the long-term financial burden on the ratepayers that you represent?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the idea would be to be able to do that kind of economic determination as to whether or not the consolidated interim storage would have cost reduction.
And Mr. White, to your knowledge, has there been a thorough and credible life cycle analysis that would support an interim storage facility?
I'm not sure that there's been a thorough, I think I might quibble with just that, whether it's all-encompassing, because I think there's some aspects that should be considered as well. But there has been some studies done. I'm just not convinced that they're encompassing the entire determination, the entire set of analysis that needs to be considered.
Again, I thank our witnesses for appearing here today. Chairman Duncan, thank you for holding this important hearing, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. I now go to Ms. Miller.